Welcome to Sinister Serials, where shadows whisper and every tale chills to the... On Weird Wednesday, cosmic horrors from beyond the stars will haunt your dreams. This Weird Wednesday, journey with us to the sands of Egypt in the Shifting Sands of Zaraleth. An expedition led by Dr. Harris seeks ancient truths but finds sinister mysteries instead. As supernatural threats and betrayals unravel, the team faces their darkest fears. Will they escape Zaraleth's grasp, or will history ominously repeat itself?
Chapter 9. Dr. Chang's makeshift workstation stood out as a lone bastion of purpose amidst the chaos left in the wake of the sandstorm's fury. The expedition's camp lay in ruins, tents and gear shredded beyond repair, provisions scattered to the uncaring desert winds. The relentless sun beat down on the beleaguered team as they salvaged what little they could from the wreckage. Most devastating was the loss of medical supplies and provisions needed to survive this merciless wasteland. The group, dejected and battered, began to confront the dire reality of their situation. It was then that all eyes turned to Dr. Chang and his seemingly bottomless bag of obscure desert flora. The herbalist worked with quiet focus, sorting an array of roots, dried flowers, and crushed leaves only he could identify. His hands moved with practiced precision, combining ingredients based on medicinal lore passed down through generations of his lineage. Chang spoke little, but when he did, his words carried the weight of centuries.
We must make do with what nature provides. These herbs have sustained civilizations far longer than living memory.
The rest of the team watched Chang work, feelings conflicted between fascination and doubt. The young linguist, Miss Sinclair, found the courage to voice the apprehension they all shared.
Are you certain this is safe, Dr. Chang? In our position, we cannot afford any mistakes.
Before Chang could reply, Captain Fitzgerald interjected with impatience born of stress.
We have no other options now. Just make sure you know what you're doing.
He winced, rubbing at the persistent ache in his leg that had plagued their journey. The herbalist remained focused on funneling vivid purple oils from a cracked vial into his bubbling decoctions. As the mixtures turned a foreboding crimson, Dr. Harris leaned in with concern.
What are you muttering there, Chang? Is everything all right?
Chang continued working as if in a trance, chanting under his breath in long-forgotten tongues. But those nearby could make out unsettling phrases.
Ancient whispers, secrets slumbering under the skin of the desert. They call to me.
Unease rippled through the group, but the stillness was broken by a triumphant
Aha!
as Chang raised his latest elixir upwards in victory.
This should help restore vigor drained by the sun's wrath. 1 vial each at sundown. We must replenish our energy for the path ahead.
As the team reluctantly accepted their herbal remedies, the desert seemed to grow unusually quiet, holding an anticipatory breath. Dusk descended rapidly, the final rays of sunlight disappearing below the roiling dunes as if devoured by this ravenous wasteland. Around their fire, a heavy gloom weighed upon the group, amplified by Dr. Chang's increasingly unsettling incantations echoing from the shadows. Sleep brought scant respite, with each member plagued by vivid nightmares of being stalked through a labyrinth by some invisible presence. Was it born of exhaustion, or had they unwittingly transported some malevolent force when they unearthed that accursed tablet? Dawn illuminated little but the endless dunes and rocky outcroppings. With gear repaired as best they could, the expedition set forth once more, desperate to locate some oasis indicated in Sinclair's notes before their strength gave out entirely. Mile upon endless mile blurred together under the unrelenting sun, they navigated as much by memory and iron will as by compass. Just as the group felt ready to collapse in utter despair at the futility of it all, Miss Sinclair gave a fevered cry.
Look, Rising from the heat haze, some structure lies ahead.
There on the horizon, as if conjured by mirage, stood an ancient edifice bedecked in spiraling glyphs and alien symbols. Looming out of the desert haze rose an imposing ancient structure, worn stones covered in spiraling glyphs and alien symbols.
This matches the description from Dr. Harris's translated texts. Could this be the fabled Lost Temple of Zaraleth?
With renewed vigor they hurried towards the ancient site, eager to escape the oppressive elements. Trudging through the crumbling entrance, their spirits fell once more. The monolith's imposing visage was like a great stone sentinel, weathered yet enduring, holding vigil over eons of shifting sands. Dr. Chang approached reverently, fingertips brushing ancient sigils that seemed to ripple at his touch. As the team approached, the dust phantom seemed to coalesce from the very fabric of the desert itself, its form shifting and undulating like the sands that surrounded them. Its features were obscured by a swirling vortex of dust and sand, lending it an air of inscrutable menace. Its eyes, pools of endless darkness, bore into the souls of those who dared to gaze upon it, filling them with a primal fear that echoed across the ages. Captain Fitzgerald stepped forward cautiously, one hand drifting towards his hip pistol.
What in God's name is that?
He muttered under his breath. When no reply came, he called out loudly,
We come in peace, seeking knowledge and sanctuary.
Only icy desert wind echoed his words back in mocking refrain. A tense silence hung over the scene before Dr. Harris whispered,
We should tread carefully, friends. I know not what powers guard this place, but I suggest we do not aim to find out.
The herbalist Chang raised his hands in supplication, voicing an incantation in his native tongue that seemed directed both at the entity and the ancient symbols etched above the doorway behind it.
Who dares disturb the sanctum of the gods?
The dust phantom's voice echoed as if spoken underwater. Dr. Chang raised placating hands, pulse quickening.
We humble wayfarers seek passage beyond this veil to hidden truths.
The swirling specter hissed, dust pluming from unseen lips.
And what makes you worthy of that forbidden knowledge?
Eyes smoldering like stoked embers assessed each member in turn. Dr. Chang hesitated, then withdrew his family heirloom from his robes, an amulet scintillating with jade energy.
I offer this, imbued with generations of my lineage's essence, triumphs and sacrifices. Our destinies are tied to this untamed land.
Sinclair gasped.
Changno, its value to you.
But he silenced her protest with a solemn look. The whirlwind watchman stretched out a swirling tendril, enveloping the amulet and pulling it into its vaporous form. The amulet, a finely crafted relic passed down through Dr. Chang's family for countless generations, is believed to have been forged by ancient artisans in a time long forgotten, or perhaps even by the desert's elemental consciousness itself. Each wearer has added their own chapter to its storied history, binding their joys and sorrows, dreams and regrets into its unique crystalline structure. The first recorded bearer of the amulet was Chang's ancestor, General Wei Chang, a legendary warrior who led his army to victory in a series of decisive battles that secured the region's independence. It is said that the amulet bestowed upon General Chang the courage and strength to lead his troops into battle, inspiring them to triumph against overwhelming odds. However, the amulet's legacy is not without its share of tragedy. Many of Chang's ancestors who wore the amulet met untimely ends on the battlefield, their sacrifices immortalized in the annals of history. Among them was General Chang's son, Lieutenant Zhang Chang, who fell in battle defending his homeland from invaders. Dr. Chang's grandfather had employed its protective energies defending his village from invading warlords. But victory was not without cost. The scars he sustained a testament to the relic's limits. His father unlocked the amulet's healing resonance, mending those in his remote community who had no access to medicine. When Dr. Chang accepted the burden, he witnessed firsthand both sides of its power, unable to save his beloved wife Mei Ling, who wore the amulet as a token of protection during their marriage, but tragically lost her life in a tragic accident, her body swallowed by the unforgiving depths of a storm-tossed sea, leaving Dr. Chang widowed and bereft. But then, using its restorative force to pull his frail son John back from death's brink after a tragic accident. Now, at journey's end, but faced with the trial of the monolith, Chang understood difficult choices must be made, a tangible link to his family's legacy of triumph and tragedy. Its surface bears the scars of time, etched with the memories of those who came before, a silent testament to the sacrifices made in the name of honor and duty. As Dr. Chang offers the relic to the guardian as a sacrifice, he feels the weight of his family's history pressing upon him, a reminder of the burdens carried by those who dare to defy fate and seek the secrets of the desert.
Yes, rich with memories, both wondrous and tragic. I sense your ancestors' repeated cycles of triumph and folly. Very well. Your gift satisfies the covenant.
Stone ground against stone as a doorway yawned open.
May you find the truth you seek, or the peace that comes with final revelation.
As the blood moon crested ominously over the ruins, its crimson light seemed to cast the crumbling walls in a hellish glow. Dr. Chang stood transfixed by the unearthly sight, robes billowing in a wind only he could feel. Since their harrowing encounter with the entity, he had become increasingly detached from reality. His companions observed uneasily from across the flickering campfire as he began to ramble under his breath.
The stars, the aligning is nigh. Secrets woven through the tapestry of time shall be made known.
Chang's words grew more cryptic, his eyes reflecting the dancing flames. Captain Fitzgerald shared an anxious look with Harris and Sinclair as their guide's mental state clearly continued deteriorating.
Did you hear that?
He whispered harshly, pointing toward one of the many yawning doorways with a trembling hand.
There's something out there, watching us.
The rest of the team exchanged uneasy glances as Dr. Chang's erratic behavior continued escalating. When they first arrived, he had been ecstatic, practically vibrating with energy as he explained the temple's significance and what he hoped to uncover within its ancient walls. But ever since their encounter with the strange entity that seemed to guard the ruins, a profound shift had overcome their companion. Harris cleared his throat.
Getting late, old boy. Why not come rest a while?
But Chang continued murmuring, fixated skyward.
They arrive, winged harbingers from the void between worlds.
Take it easy, Chang.
Fitzgerald said gently, setting down another log to stoke the flames.
We're all a little jittery after that thing popped out at us, but we're safe for
No.
Dr. Chang interrupted, eyes feverish.
No, you don't understand. This place, I can feel it clawing at my mind. Ancient whispers, memories not my own.
He trailed off, tugging at his disheveled hair and casting his gaze wildly around as if seeing phantoms the others could not. Harris and Sinclair shared an uneasy look. Their herbalist's state was clearly deteriorating faster than they anticipated. This expedition teetered on the brink, and one false step could send everything crashing down around them. Fitzgerald stood, palms raised cautiously.
Chang, let's move away from the edge now. Come back to the fire where it's safe.
But his words seemed to fall on deaf ears. The herbalist began rooting through his bags feverishly, casting odd roots and pouches aside.
Must prepare the ritual to welcome them, burn the sacred grasses and mark the gateway.
Sinclair made to approach the unraveling man, but Harris gripped her shoulder.
Careful! We don't know what he's capable of like this.
Chang was dangerously oblivious to his surroundings, consumed by fixation on his imagined task.
Chang, snap out of it. We need you focused.
Fitzgerald barked, desperation tinging his voice. He tried to catch his colleague's gaze, but Dr. Chang stared blankly into the distance, mumbling incoherently.
He's not making any sense.
Sinclair murmured, glancing nervously at Harris.
What do we do?
Harris shook his head, jaw clenched tight.
We can't afford distractions right now. We have to deal with this thing.
He nodded towards the shadowy entrance of the temple, where they had recently encountered the mysterious entity guarding its secrets. Dr. Chang suddenly jolted upright, eyes wide with terror.
They're coming. They're watching us.
Fitzgerald glanced anxiously at his teammates before fixing his stern gaze on Dr. Chang.
We need to make a decision. Now.
Sinclair hesitated, looking torn between fear and doubt.
But what if he's right? What if there's something out there?
Harris scoffed, trying to mask his own unease.
We can't let fear cloud our judgment. We need to focus on the task at hand.
As the team struggled to regain control of the situation, one thing became abundantly clear. They could no longer deny or minimize Dr. Chang's rapidly deteriorating mental state. The time had come to confront the harsh reality of their predicament and find a way to move forward despite the looming dangers, both external and internal. With heavy hearts and minds racing, the team prepared themselves for the daunting challenge ahead. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a series of trials that would test their resolve and unity like never before. And so, under the watchful eye of the blood-red moon, they began planning their next steps, determined to salvage their mission and ensure their collective survival.
Welcome to Sinister Serials, where shadows whisper and every tale chills to the bone. Join us on Macabre Monday for gothic tales shrouded in mist and mystery. Twisted Tuesday will unravel your mind with psychological thrillers that blur the line between reality and madness. On Weird Wednesday, cosmic horrors from beyond the stars will haunt your dreams. Thriller Thursday brings tales of survival, where every shadow could be your last. Fantasy Friday weaves stories of ancient magic and mythical beasts. Sci-Fi Saturday launches you into dark futures and alien terrors. And on Supernatural Sunday, ghostly whispers and paranormal mysteries will leave you questioning what's truly beyond. Step into the darkness with us. The stories are just beginning.